The Beef. We not only talk about business problems, we talk about business solutions. I'm James.
I'm Bob.
And we're corporate facilitators for a company called Sequent Learning Networks. We talk to people all the time about different problems they have within their organizations. We want to help move beyond those and help find solutions as well. So, Bob.
Yes.
What's your beef about today, my friend?
I have kind of a personal one, I think.
Okay. Let's get personal.
Personal. Yeah, listen. And it has to do with, I just feel like a lot of the organizations we go into, that people just aren't having a lot of fun. You know?
Sure.
And I think what got me, first of all, there's a huge difference when you go into an organization where people are actually having fun, right?
Yeah, you can
and
feel
they
it,
feel
you
a little
can
more
sense it,
natural.
yeah.
They feel like they're not always under the eye of HR or whatever, and they just can feel a little bit more involved. But actually what happened to me was I recently met up with some buddies from a company that I worked for years ago. And all we did was reminisce about what a great time we had. Like,
really?
I used to gag with each other and play a lot of jokes at each other and all kinds of things. And everyone just reminisced about what a great environment that was. And we were successful and everyone loved coming to work. And I can't say that I've had that in every single environment that I've worked in. The ones that I've worked in that are like that are just so much better than the other ones.
Sure.
And so, you know, as you ask other people in other companies about the same thing, they feel the same way. So I think the bigger question is like, what can we do about this? You know, how do we bring more fun into people's workplaces? So that's something I want to explore.
Yeah, and that's a good one. I'm glad you brought it up because if you haven't figured out already, viewers, we like to have fun. Right, and I like doing this, which I find is fun, and my job now. We have fun, right? We like what we do and we have a good time. And I've had experiences where, not too long ago, a place where prior to here, we had a lot of fun. You know, and I think about the experiences that we had, the gags we used to play with people and whatnot.
Give me a gag.
Oh, boy.
Because I want to reminisce about, I want to tell you about some of mine.
Perfect. So then I'll tell you one. There's a lot of them, okay?
Yeah, me too.
And those, if those people are actually watching, I'm sorry. But usually what happens is if you go away, you take a vacation at this place, something was happening to your workspace. Okay. One of them in particular would be around one individual, which was a good one. I got a good and a bad one, but I'll tell you the good one because sometimes you played a joke and maybe it was the wrong person to play a joke on, and they got a little more mad than you really expected them to be. But when people leave their office, we would always do something in their office. So, buddy that actually sat right next to me, he left and went away on vacation with his family. And we went into his office. We took all the pictures off his walls, stripped the entire office of everything in there, and then filled it with balloons and filled it. The floor, it was high. It was like higher than his desk. Filled it with all sorts of balloons and different things, and just filled the ground all the way up and shut the door. And then basically, when he tried to get in, he would try to open the door, and there was just balloons and things everywhere. He walked in, and he didn't know where anything was, and it was absolutely clear. We had a blast with it. Had an absolute blast with it. He was freaking out. He's like, where are my pictures? I got to work. I got to do this. I got to do that. And there was just balloons and streamers and things just hanging everywhere in his office. He couldn't even get it.
We did a blast. We did a balloon thing, too. We filled someone's office top to bottom with balloons. They opened it up, and balloons came out. My favorite one that we did was to one of the other managers in our group. We actually took all of his furniture out of his office and moved it into the bathroom. Had a big bathroom. Moved into the bathroom. Put his name tag on the bathroom. Like it became his new office. But it backfired a little bit because we didn't realize we had a new CEO that was about to start, and we didn't know that he was starting like that day. So the new guy comes in, and he was just getting to know. He had his meetings that morning and everything else, and he came to me. He's from the UK, right? I had no. He was from the UK, and it somehow, just had a way of passing off everything calmly.
Right?
So I would have been like, "What's going on up here?" And he just calmly walks into the pub and says, "Capo," that's what they called me. "Capo, why is so-and-so's office in the commode?" I don't know. It's just where he likes to work. It was totally awesome. But he had a great sense of humor. He passed it off, and the other guy passed it off too.
Right.
But we used to do stuff like that all the time, and it just made for such a great environment.
It was great. I remember there was a little thing. There was also one of my buddies, still a good friend of mine today, had this little black box, and it had this high pitch. It had a magnet on it. It just had this high pitched chirping that would take place. And he would just place it under people's cubes, and they wouldn't know what was going on, and it would just beep, it would just chirp constantly, and they'd lose their mind, and just sit there and laugh at it, like, and it would just be right at their desk, and you couldn't see it because it was little. It was just those little things like that. And what they did was they keep everybody having fun, right? We all work hard.
I love it.
We work hard every day. We work long hours, and if you're having fun in there, then it's not as much of a drag.
Exactly.
Right? You're able to work together. You get some good relationships, and you're able to really have a good time with some of the stuff. So I think it's so important.
We did another one like with the sound thing. You could assign like sounds to different actions on your computer and so forth. So what we did was we recorded a voice that anytime that this one person would minimize a window, it would say in a whisper voice, "Make me big again." And
that's fantastic.
She kept on hearing this. Here it came to me. Eventually, I was like, I think I'm hearing voices, and they're inappropriate. I was like, uh-oh. That was so awesome. But like these harmless little jokes that just make things fun.
Yeah.
And so when I think about why that doesn't happen in every environment, I think that sometimes we police things too much, right? We have to be a little bit concerned with what's going to offend people and what aren't. And you don't always know what that's going to be.
That's true.
So I think that that's a legitimate thing. Like,
that's true.
Not much offends me, as you probably know. And I think the same with you, so it's a good match, right?
Yeah.
But you can't assume that of everybody. Some people are going to get offended. They're not going to like certain things. They may not admit it. And I think that's what kind of brings things to another where it's too safe.
Right.
So how do you balance this, right? I mean, it's a tough one.
It's a tough one, and I have somebody else who's a good friend of mine, and honestly, she hates her job right now, and that's a horrible place to be, right? You spend so many hours there, hates her job because she feels like people are whispering behind her, and nobody has fun, and you don't have to love what you do all the time. You gotta love the people you're doing it with. You realize how many people you're working with or whatnot.
Yeah.
So there's only so much I feel like in an organization, we as individuals can do. There's usually a feeling that goes on in the organization, whether or not it's okay to do X, Y, and Z. But as leaders, I would say this, right? To get the most out of your teams, to get people that you want that are maybe going to enjoy their job and be able to get the most out of them, create an environment that is safe and comfortable. Be okay with these things taking place sometimes.
At least some of them.
Some of them. I mean, you don't want to spend all your time blowing up 1,000 balloons, which is what we did.
Yeah.
But you don't want to waste time, right? Because then we worked all night.
Putting someone else's car up for sale, something like that. Putting all the hole punch things into someone's umbrella, so when they open it, it pours down.
Or taking
things like that. You don't want to do that.
Take a piece of tape and put it under their mouth so the mouth doesn't work.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Don't do that.
No, because then you're not working, right? But those sort of things can help to build morale, right? I mean, and create a good work environment and things of that nature too.
And I think part of this thing, I don't know that we're going to have a solution, right? And I don't want every HR manager leaving comments like, how could you possibly condone all this behavior? Now it's going to go just hog wild because you two said it. It's obviously not going to happen that way. I think what the idea is to really, as a manager, as leaders, as companies, to support a little bit of office fun. And if you kind of control it, right, and you kind of you condone it, you even partake in it, then you can control it from getting out of hand or becoming inappropriate or other things, because you're actually making an environment that people will be comfortable in, but also comfortable joking in and being themselves. And there's this fine line between human nature and inappropriateness.
Of course.
And it's the job of every company and every leader to make sure that line isn't being crossed for the majority of people.
That's one too, right?
Yeah, but I think you also can't make it so stuffy and so unfun that people then turn the other way, start turning on each other, they start backstabbing,
talking about it.
It's a terrible environment.
Oh, it's the worst.
And so you have to balance that, I think. Yeah. And I don't know. I've always tried to do that.
Sure.
And wherever I can do that, it seems like the office is more productive. People want to come to work.
And people want to stay. People will be there. They like that.
It's just better. So the message for me is, have a little fun, right? Just have a little bit of fun. And maybe things will be a little bit lighter in the office and more productive.
And this was good, because now I'm kind of remembering some of the pranks I pulled.
Yeah.
You better be heads up.
Yeah. Well, isn't fun just thinking about it.
It is. And I'm realizing I haven't done them in a while.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe have to catch up on that.
I have a few others that I think.
Thanks so much for joining us today. I hope you had a little bit of fun in listening to some of the stories we had and whatnot. Please leave some comments below. Any beefs you may have, we'd love to talk about them on our show. Also, please don't forget to subscribe. Click the button right below, and we'll be on hopefully every other week is what we're looking at. So thank you so much.
Yeah, and I hope now it looks like people might beef about us.
This episode. I think that might happen. I kind of like that idea. Beef about us.
Yeah. Take a look. All right. We'll talk to you next time.
Thank you. Talk to people every day and hear about problems that they have in their organizations, and they feel helpless to solve.
They do.
Yeah,
They
I
really
go
do.
right into the
Old thing, yeah.
You know.
Every day we travel around the globe, which we don't.
I had that.
Not at all.
Not at all. Every day. Not today.
We're here. Glad we changed that intro.
This is coming from shooting live from New Zealand.